allegedly a romantical thing. It's all right. I'll say alleged, but we know.
Was altered drastically.
Purportedly a sentimental gesture. But it's okay, I'll say, alleged. But we know it was significantly changed, and at your lowest moments. I've learned about the uncertainty that permeates your day-to-day life. Foxy Brown hasn't been heard from in a while, but she's returning to Hollywood with a bang that nobody saw coming. And it's new music I'm talking about. She made a surprise return to the music scene with some exposure. And it appears that she's getting ready to reveal Jay-Z's darkest secret to the world. Foxy is reportedly preparing for a massive comeback, promising to reveal a lot about Jay and their covert relationship. Jay-Z wasn't just a mentor to her, she's claiming he took advantage of her during those early years, when they were making music together. It's been ages since all this supposedly happened, but Foxy's revelations will sure create a lot of tension for Jay's not-so-perfect image, especially with a secret tape that Foxy threatens to leak point at the lowest point where I felt like I was and I didn't want to do it again. 'Cause Jay has been making headlines a lot lately, especially in relation of his close friendship with Diddy. Folks have been wondering why Jay was keeping the distance from his convicted predator pal, and apparently after Foxy's revelations, it's clear as a day that these two must have been guilty in the same crimes. And get this, Foxy says it all started between her and Jay-Z back in 1996. When she was just 17, I have spent many confusing, agonizing nights, crying in isolation. It looks like Foxy Brown has a lot to say about the crazy stuff that happens in the industry with young artists, and you won't believe the recent tea she has spilled about Jade doing the same thing to her as Diddy did to Cassie, filming their intimate encounter. After years of being silenced, she's done hiding the truth, and she's pointing her finger at Jay-Z, claiming that the music mogul crossed some boundaries and even was able to get away with some of the atrocious things he's been doing to her 14, 15 years old. And Jay-Z and I were in a studio, and well, you all know Jay-Z as an untouchable king. But it looks Foxy Brown know a bit more about the things he's doing behind the scenes, and his so-called producing skills destroy the lives of young female artists. Foxy is now claiming that Jay used to offer her company to other prominent figures. And there's even a tape that bears the truth of the wild claims that have been circulating in the industry for ages. If you recall, Jay-Z is the man who allegedly stole her V-card when she was 15. However, there's more to this story than that. There have long been allegations that Foxy can be seen making out with Jay and other guys on tape, and that this could land Jay in jail. This horrific experience seems to have left Fox psychologically broken, and she can't stop thinking about how the industry giants have been pushing young artists around and producing tapes with them for their own sick pleasure. I apologize for all of the hardships I've faced, but I always knew that God was with me, and I would wake up every day thinking, God, why me, why me? And reminding you that I'm just like many other impressionable and young girls like Cassie. At the age of 16, Foxy Brown entered the music industry with the intention of becoming a celebrity. She signed with D-Jam and sold over 128,000 copies of her debut album in its first week. The record reached platinum status in just 3 months and served as the model for female hip-hop MCs. Naturally, Jay-Z was by her side to see her success as Foxy's fame spread across the world, and she seemed to have a bright future ahead of her. He even co-wrote some of her early hits, including Get Me Home, Big Bad Mama, and Hotspot. With Jay's kind assistance, Foxy's second album debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 and sold 173,000 copies in its first week. Jay even commented, "I knew then that you were different after leaving D-Jam." Initially, Foxy stayed under Jay-Z's mentorship, but faced setback due to sudden hearing loss in 2005, putting her career on temporarily. Allegedly, it gave the necessary pause to review everything that was happening in her life. and especially her wild connection to Jay-Z, as she shared in one interview. This incident was a main teaching moment for her, where she finally realized that the sick world of hip-hop rules wasn't her place to be. I just knew that God had got me then, because I kept running and dodging him, and he kept giving me signs and little warnings. And they say God will get you first in private, and if you don't get you then he'll get you in public. And then during this unwanted pause, she realized she's done playing by the rules and probably wanted to come clean about Jay-Z and his treatment of female artists. And apparently this is where he made sign an NDA attaining success. I've gone through a lot of turmoil and a lot of devastation, a lot of problems. It's not like there haven't been rumors about his sick advances. And especially if you hear the lyrics of the song Jay wrote for a teenage girl, it all becomes evident for many people. As one person wrote on social media, yeah, he's sick for writing songs like that for a 15-year-old child, and sleeping with her is even sicker. And another user added she was 17 when she made her first song with Jay-Z. We already know what happens to a chick in the hood with no father. Apparently, despite all this traumatic experience, Foxy couldn't speak earlier because Jay-Z is not a foe, and he made her sign an NDA related to everything that has been happening behind the scenes. As Foxy says, she made a lot of stuff that felt creepy and uncomfortable. The most shocking thing of all is that Foxy claims that these encounters between her and Jay left her not only morally destroyed, but also resulted in several problems with her intimate health. Although this may sound shocking for 2024, let me remind you folks that Jay-Z and Foxy Brown's relationship began in the 90s when the singer was only 14 or 15, and the nature of Jay-Z remarks about her was kind of already disgusting and hinting at their potentially unhealthy relationship. Again, by attaining success, I've gone through a lot of turmoil, devastation, and problems, but they have made me stronger. It appears that Foxy is now afraid that the thing's sweet baby girl, she's cool with people. Since Diddy secrets came out of the closet, something seems to be building in Tinseltown, and Jay is also sensing pressure from his old supporters. During his interview with Nick Cannon, Jay's former business partner, Dame Dash, was questioned about his love for Young Flesh. Nick later stated that he was only seeking clarification to protect the industry and its artists from another dude like R. Kelly. Nick couldn't help but ask Dame about the age at which Foxy Brown was signed, and based on Dame's reaction, he wanted to be anywhere but in that room. So in a diplomatic manner, he responded, "I wasn't paying attention to Foxy Brown. I didn't sign Foxy Brown." However, when Dame was faced with a direct question, he couldn't help but reveal the truth and discuss the purported romantic relationship between Foxy and her. Don't beat around the bush, mentor. Say what you want to say. Ask, what do you mean by that question? I'm not insinuating. I'm just asking. It appears that Foxy was inspired by the outcome of Cassie's lawsuit against Diddy, and she wants the world to know her own story of how Jay-Z introduced her to the lifestyle where she had to do the things she didn't want. It seems like she was terrified and never spoke about her relationship with Carter and what she went through. However, she made the decision to come clean after